Hi ladies and gentlemen, this is Mrs. Pullen again. This is the third video for lesson 1.02, and in this video we're going to do example 3 where we're going to create a histogram using the TI Inspire calculator. So get your calculators ready. Using your TI Inspire calculator, create a histogram of the following data set representing the price for a gallon of regular gas from 16 gas stations in East Meadow, New York, March 2020. And if you look at these gas prices, you can see they're significantly less than the gas prices now. Okay, so the very first thing you're going to do is go to your graphing calculator, and we're going to open up a new document. And we're going to add a list in spreadsheets. And the top row, we're going to add our variable name. And instead of X, I'm going to call it price, but you can call it X if you like. And we're going to start typing in our data. And so as not to waste your time, what I'd like you to do is put the video on hold and enter the data in your calculator. Once you've entered the data, the next thing we're going to do is add a page so we can create the histogram using the calculator. So hit Control Doc. That adds a page, and we're going to choose option 5 on this calculator. The newer ones may be slightly different. And we're going to hover over the bottom like we did before, and we're going to add the variable price. It creates a dot plot. Now we're in this statistical graphing menu, so we're going to go to the menu, and that's going to be specific options for that menu, plot type, and we're going to go for option 3, histogram. Now the default setting is normally the width is very small, the bin width is small, and we end up with lots of bars. And the problem with it is it's sometimes hard to determine the shape of the graph based on that. And so I normally change the width, and I normally like 5 to 6 bars if possible. And again, that's personal preference, but it does help determining the shape of the graph better. So how do we determine the bin width? Let's go back to the data. And what we're going to do is we're going to circle the highest piece of data, which is $2.46, and the lowest piece of data, which is $2.21, and we're going to determine the range. Now, I like to overestimate a bit, so I'm going to say the maximum is close to $2.50, and I'm going to say the minimum is close to $2.20. And that gives me a difference of 30 cents. I like 5 to 6 bars. In this case, I want 6 bars. So what I'm going to do to get the bin width is I'm going to take that difference and divide by 6. And I get a bin width of 5 cents. And so now we're going to go back to our graphing calculator. Remember, we're in the statistical graphing menu, so it's going to be specific to that. And I'm going to go to option 2 for plot properties, and we're dealing with histogram. So histogram properties, we're not going to change the scale in this case, but we want to have equal bin width. Variable bin width is ridiculous. You never use that. And I'm going to change this so it's 5 cents. And I want to start my graph at $2.20. And I hit OK. Now what happens when I do that is my graph, we can't see the whole thing. So we need to change the window. So you're going to hit Menu and Window. And we want to hit Zoom Data. That fixes everything like magic. And what's nice about the calculator is when you hover over the individual bars, you can actually see the frequencies, and that's going to be really useful because we're going to record that. So I want you to go back to your notes and let's create a chart. And normally you wouldn't have to have a chart, but for the purposes of your notes, I want you to. So label your table, interval, and frequency, and let's start writing it in. And let's start putting the interval down. And there were 4, and continue on. And typically, you wouldn't have to write out the interval and frequency table, but again, for today's notes, I'd like you to. And so if you add up our total, it should add up to 16. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to actually write up the graph. And to save time, I created one and I saved it. So I'm going to just drag it in. And you can start copying it down while I talk about it. So you have to have, like, if you're not starting at 0, you have to have some sort of gap placeholder. And so I decided to, for my graph, have every 2 boxes equal to the bin width of 5 cents. And on the y-axis, my frequency, every 2 boxes equal to 1. Make sure you label. It's really important. Again, if you wanted to have a thinner or wider box, you can, but it's really important that the width of the bar is the same. Okay, so put the video on hold so you can copy the graph, and then we'll start writing out our description. Again, where did I get the frequencies? Just so people can see. I just hovered over the individual bars. Notice between 240 and 245, there's a gap. Okay, now that we have the diagram, we actually have to describe what we see. And so our description should include the features, think socks, the shape, outstanding features, the center, and the spread. So let's deal with the shape first. So we see that most of the data lies towards the left and the tail is towards the right. So therefore, the distribution is skewed to the right. We see a gap between $2.40 and $2.45. So that's our outstanding feature. Since our distribution is skewed, we will use the median to determine the center as the center. And the median, we have 16 pieces of data, correct? So let's see, that means the median, if you split that in half, is between the 8th and 9th position. So this is 4, this is 6, right? So that means the median is somewhere in the interval of $2.25 and $2.30. The range we can actually get from the data. The highest was $2.46 and the minimum was $2.21. So that means that the range or the spread is 25 cents. And so we're going to write this up. So I'm going to put it in a text box. Remember, for the AP Stats exam and my exams, you need to have a complete verbal description, and it has to be in the context of the problem. And it, again, has to include these 4 features. So the distribution of gas prices per gallon, that's the context, is skewed to the right. with the median gas price in the interval from $2.25 to $2.30, and the range is 25 cents. There's a gap between $2.40 and $2.45. I do want to point out something. The range is never an interval. It's always going to be a single number. That's a key mistake that happens often to students on the AP exam, and the AP exam will dock you lots of points if you do that. So remember, when you write down the range, it has to be a single number. So this is the third video. We will be going on to another video for example 4, and I promise you it will be short.